The Karathi slave evaluator looked at the human female with 6 eyes full of dismissal. Small, even by human standards. Malformed leg from an old injury. Half-blind in one eye. The scanner showed muscle atrophy from malnutrition. Defective unit, he declared, updating his datapad. Send to disposal. Wait, the buyer interrupted. She's still breathing. Mining colony Theta-7 needs bodies. They don't last long there anyway. That was 3 years ago. Today, mining colony Theta-7 no longer exists. Neither do colonies Theta-8 through Theta-19. The Karathi Empire's entire outer rim industrial complex has collapsed, and they whisper her name in the dark like a curse. Riley Murphy, the broken ghost. Started small as legends often do. Equipment failures in Theta-7's processing plant. Nothing traced back to her. She could barely walk without her improvised cane, after all. Who would suspect the crippled human who struggled to meet even the reduced quotas? The overseers laughed when expensive machinery broke down. Probably that useless human trying to sabotage us, they joked. Can't even see straight enough to hit the right lever. They stopped laughing when the life support systems failed in the overseer quarters. Only the overseer quarters. The emergency exits had been welded shut from the outside. The backup systems had somehow been rerouted to the slave quarters instead. Riley was found the next morning exactly where she always was, struggling with her assigned workload, leaning heavily on her cane. Security footage showed she'd never left her station. How could she? She could barely walk. The investigation team sent from Theta-8 found something interesting in the wreckage. The system failures weren't random. They followed patterns, Morse code in ancient Earth language. The message, repeated in the malfunction cycles, "You should have killed me." 6 months later, Theta-8's main reactor went critical. The evacuation alarm gave the slaves 30 minutes to reach the transport ships. The overseer's alarm system never activated. Riley Murphy limped onto the last transport. Helped by other humans she'd secretly taught to read the malfunction warnings she'd been coding into various systems. The Karathi Empire sent their best investigator. Commander Vrex had solved impossible cases across the galaxy. He reviewed thousands of hours of footage. In every frame, Riley Murphy was exactly where she should be, working slowly, painfully, at whatever menial task she'd been assigned. Her disability made her the perfect alibi. Vrex died when his shuttle exploded mid-flight. The black box recorded his last words. It's her. She's not broken. She's hunting. Colony after colony fell. Always the same pattern. Equipment failures that spelled messages. Life support redirected. To save slaves. Overseers trapped by their own security systems. And Riley Murphy, limping through each disaster. Visible on every camera. Never where she shouldn't be. The Karathi tried transferring her. Wherever she went, the colonies burned behind her. They tried isolating her. The other human slaves had learned her methods, carrying on her work. They tried executing her. The transport carrying her to the termination facility vanished. All hands lost except the human slaves, who showed up months later at a rebellion outpost. The execution recording showed Riley Murphy, moments before the transport disappeared, looking directly at the camera. She smiled and tapped her cane against the floor. Morse code. Still breathing. The Karathi Empire's military advisors presented their analysis to the High Council. Subject appears to have extensive training in systems engineering, demolitions, psychological warfare, and logistics. Physical limitations used as camouflage. Threat level. Extinction grade. But the scans showed. The scans showed what she wanted them to show. Humans can control their muscle tension, fake injuries, simulate neurological damage. We never ran deep genetic analysis. We saw a broken slave and stopped looking. The Empire's response was swift and panicked. They released every human slave in the outer territories. Full pardons. Transport to any neutral world. Anything to make the attack stop. The last confirmed sighting of Riley Murphy was on a security feed from the Karathi's main slave processing center. She stood in the abandoned facility, leaning on her cane, looking at centuries of slave records. The camera caught her lips moving, reading names. Then she looked up at the camera, tapped her cane. The universal Morse pattern, SOS, save our souls. But she wasn't asking for rescue. She was announcing what she'd become, the savior of souls. The broken woman who broke an empire. The Karathi don't take human slaves anymore. When asked why, they speak of efficiency of cost-benefit analyses. They never mention her name. But in the dark, when their young ask why empty colonies drift like ghost towns through the outer rim, they whisper about the broken ghost. The human who was too damaged to be dangerous. The helpless woman who made herself into a myth. Riley Murphy, who taught an empire that the most dangerous humans are the ones you've already dismissed.